The difference between you and me is that you seem to look for one principle.
One.
And I realize that if you want to relate to the world in a proper sense, you have to weigh up different principles against each other.
Well, the difference is between you and me is that first you say you didn't have a principle, then you identified some principles, and I don't have a problem with 3 principles. It doesn't have to be one, but you have to have one principle.
Do I?
Listen, I haven't finished. One principle that tells you how to organize these principles. If you have 3 principles now, I have one, I should go forward. The other one, I should go to the left. The other one, I should go to the right. Do you know which way I'm going to go? No, because I don't have any principle that's telling me when to apply one and when to apply the other. So, yeah, you can have, in complicated situations, more than one principle. But if you don't have one principle that organizes them, the relationship between them, then you don't have any guidance. And that was my previous question in the beginning, if you remember, which is, can you evaluate effectively without a principle? But then you started to give me some principles, so it's okay. But before you were saying you had no principle, so we have to investigate, is it necessary to have a principle or 3 with an organizing principle to be able to evaluate effectively?
But you are advocating the idea of one over principle and several
or
under
else
principles.
You don't have any way of knowing what to do. Yeah. You have no guidance.
I don't have one single principle to determine any situation in the world. No, that is true, and that is how the world works. You cannot have one principle to follow on every issue. And I'm much more.
You can have one principle.
Yeah, well, that was the old world order. I'm more concerned about people than about borders. That's one thing. The question of national sovereignty is one principle, but it's not an Uber principle. It's not the one that I will sort any other principles by.
The Nazis weren't very concerned with borders either when it came to Norway. But you seem to think that you can evaluate effectively without a principle or a set of principles that you know the relationship between them.
That is true.
Right. And that's why I asked you, what is an evaluation?
No, I mean, every international conflict...
No, evaluation of any sort. With your girlfriend, with your job, any evaluation. Are all evaluations, listen, are all evaluations deductive reasoning? Involve deductive reasoning. Every evaluation that you make about anything involves deductive reasoning. Isn't that correct? Think about it. When you evaluate, what are you doing? You're evaluating me right now based on some principle or principles. It involves deductive reasoning. You cannot engage in deductive reasoning effectively without a major premise. It's a syllogism that's going on in your mind when you are doing deductive reasoning, and when you are evaluating, it's the same thing. No general principle, no major premise, no syllogism, no reasoning. You have arbitrary decisions. Go to war in Syria, go to war in Iraq. Don't do it in Syria. Go here, go there. That's the American policy right now. It's all over the board.